Well, hey everybody. Good afternoon. I am Jessica Jones, and I am doing a new daytime show, if you guys haven't already noticed. So, yeah, we are going to be talking about a lot of really cool, fun stuff. You guys might know that I am the weekend host at Spaced Out Radio, or a weekend host. I have a show called Off the Trails, where I talk about cryptids and all sorts of interesting paranormal stuff. And I'm also the host of Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica with Texas Front Porch. Okay, and that's Friday night. So I'm going to kind of be doing a combo, okay, here. And I'm going to take all the elements of my shows and we're going to kind of bring them all together here for a daytime version and to add a little extra to it, okay? Because I just got this really interesting download this week. And I just kept hearing, I'm a glitch in the Matrix. Okay, so I'm a glitch in the Matrix. So, there's something about manifesting, right? And so I'm really big into manifesting, and I've been encouraged to do a daytime show for some time. And I got that little download, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to put some action behind it. And I just went for it, and I've started the show now. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to be bringing on some of my field research friends. And for those of you who don't know, I am a Bigfoot paranormal field researcher. I've been doing that for a while. My teams are all trained in remote viewing. And so that's my favorite hobby. Okay. And so if I can help solve some of these mysteries of the world, I'm here to do it. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for being in here. Oh, I just opened up my chat. I got a lot of people in here today. Thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. Okay. It really does mean the world to me. Okay, so today I have my friend and fellow researcher, Glen Jackson here, and he has been my guest on Spaced Out Radio before. And I just noticed my mom's in the chat. What's up, Mom? and so we're going to be bringing Glen up in just a second. I want to give him a formal introduction first. Okay, so Glen is a paranormal and Bigfoot field researcher based in Georgia. He had Bigfoot encounters before he even knew about Bigfoot. He's encountered the Mount Vernon Monster, the Alabama White Thing. He's gotten zapped. We're going to talk about that. And has encountered a possible man or woman in black. Okay. He's trained extensively in remote viewing and spent years researching in the field. He's a critical care paramedic, certified firefighter, and hazardous materials technician. He's also an instructor of emergency medicine. Okay, so he and I are going to be talking about our creepy adventures in the woods, and he has a whole lot of experience in the field. He's seen a lot of weird stuff, just like I have. So we're going to go down this little matrixy rabbit hole today, and you guys help me welcome to the Cryptid Huntress YouTube channel, Mr. Glen Jackson. Hey, Glen.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Mom. How are you?
my mom's in the chat. She's been in the chat quite often, but I just
I
had a chance to shout her out.
My mom is listening too, so we'll have to be on our P's and Q's.
Yes, we gotta act normal, Glen. Yeah. We don't get to act normal very often.
Not very often in our group. No, we do not.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, Glen, we have so much to talk about today. I've talked to you in the past about the Mount Vernon Monster that you've encountered as a kid, and possibly even the Alabama White Thing. Okay, and so there may be people watching today that don't know what those things are. So give me a little. I give my audience a little idea of the things you've experienced.
Well, the Mount Vernon Monster was probably my first well, I'm going to say Bigfoot for the lack of other things,
Yeah.
experience. And we were all, I don't know, preteens, teenagers, real young in Northern Virginia, Mount Vernon area growing up. Was a little bit different than it is. Well, actually, I shouldn't say a little, a lot different than it is now. There was areas for things to roam. There was woods. There was places for us to go out and do things as kids. Now there's not so many. It's grown up so much. But there was always a story of something lurking in the woods, and it used to make noises and throw things. And eventually, this thing caught on to made local news. I think even national news at the time. I mean, Bigfoot outside of Washington D.C. would be big news.
A Bigfoot,
yeah, Bigfoot. So as kids, we were always curious, and I loved being outside. So we would go out into the woods and see what we could find. And the funniest thing was, we, for the longest time, really thought it was just a prank.
Well, there were reports that there were like recorders set out in the woods, and people wanted it to be a prank, I think.
I believe so, especially in that's well, not small, but that closely populated area. So, no, there was a police officer got thrown into a dumpster by something very large. The park police, the military police, the Capitol Police, no one ever seemed to catch this thing. I mean, we're talking the 80s, so the technology isn't what it is now. But if it was somebody in the woods, I would think that just outside of Washington, D.C., with all those agencies involved, that they would have caught it. My experience was we decided to get adventurous and go over through a local golf course. And that's where we saw it. It was actually out beside a pond. Like I said, I think it's a pond, but it's a small body of water inside the actual country club. And we saw it, it saw us, and we ran. It was much quicker than we were. Of course, I'm old and fat now, so it would have probably got me, but we made for the clearing and tried to get out of there as quick as we could. Hey,
you're not old nor fat. Okay.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. So
I'm a seasoned.
We're all seasoned. I know. I'm not old. I'm seasoned. I like that one. Yeah. Well, that is. I mean, I'm sure you kids were terrified. I mean, I would have been, especially not knowing too much about Bigfoot and the pictures. I didn't actually pull a picture up today, but on Spaced Out Radio, I pulled up a picture that you sent me, and it was a very dark, hairy figure, and it had these beautiful, sparkling white teeth.
That's the one thing I remember, were the eyes and the teeth.
Eyes and the teeth. They were
it
so
had
white.
Like mirror eyes, and the teeth were just as it was white. Of course, being younger, I'm sure that my I was focused more on that thing's going to eat me. That's probably why. But I have I'm making a Bigfoot. Oh no, back up. A Mount Vernon Monster coin, a collector's coin that I'm going to do 100 of them, and it'll have a picture of it on there, of course, with a little bit of fun stuff. So I'm going to try and get that out and release soon. So if anybody's interested, I'll have that. They can find me on Twitter, Sportcat.
Okay, Glenn, tell me about your coins real quick, because you do a lot of really cool coins with cryptids on them, and you're a firefighter, okay, and so you do a lot of like firefighter, coins and badges and pins and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and you were talking about the glitch in the system. It's funny, I got into that totally by chance. Of course, I'm out on the job injury from being a firefighter at the moment. And what's up, Rick? And so I wanted something to do to keep myself involved with the fire service, because I love it. But then I got to looking, and I was like, well, nobody really does the fun stuff. So that's where I come up with doing the Mount Vernon Monster coin. And then I have another friend that he also does some Bigfoot coins, and I would like to do, unfortunately, time and money are two things everybody wants more of. I would like to get a series. I've started working on some art for a whole series of cryptid coins. So now the fire coins, it's kind of like a military challenge. The story is that the people would go into a bar and they would offer somebody their challenge coin down on the bar. And if the persons around them from the military or the same unit didn't have a coin of equal or higher value, they had to buy the drinks. So that's how the challenge coin theory started. Of course, the fire service, we use it more as a memorial or token to, show your pride in your department or your unit or your station. So, but yeah, that's what I'm working on. I just made a glow in the dark patch, which is the coolest thing.
I saw that. Those are really cool. Yeah. Well, you've seen more than just the Mount Vernon Monster. You had an encounter, a possible encounter with the Alabama white thing, which, by the way, wait, where is it? I don't know if you can see. I have an Alabama white thing right here.
Yes, you do.
This is my Alabama white thing. And I got this. I got this at the Alabama Bigfoot conference. Okay. And this is so cool. So,
and remarkably, it looks a lot like what I saw.
It does. I love that thing. I was in Alabama, so I had to get the white one because it was the white thing. It's kind of gray, actually. It's seasoned. It's seasoned.
It was dark. It was moonlight. Now that one left me shaking my head because it was. I was me and another person were the only ones up that night. Still left up. You know me. When you're there, you're usually with me, a night owl.
Yeah.
And so we had been, out looking in the area, researching. Didn't see or hear anything really that great. And everybody's hitting the bunk, and I'm one of the last ones up. And I look across the creek and I see that it looks like there's a fog coming down the stream. And I'm like, well, it's a stream. It's normal. But then it was almost as if it took a shape. And then it did take a shape, and it was directly across the river staring at me. Now, that didn't have the mirror eyes. It was white. It really looked more like a mysterious, cloudy, foggy thing. But the red eyes kind of threw me off a little bit. And I was like, okay, somebody needs to see this. But as you know, if you break eye contact or if you stop paying attention to it, as soon as you turn your back there, whatever it is you saw or thought you saw is gone. So, so when I turned to holler, I was like, hey, I need a camera. I need something over here. And turned out it was gone. There was nothing there. So, and the funny thing was, our friend Trey was the one that told me about the Alabama white thing. I had never heard of the Alabama white thing. So
yeah, Trey's the head of our team ASOG, Anomalous Studies and Observation Group. He's also part of ERG, Enigma Research Group. That's how Glenn and I met. Actually, we're team members of that, and North Georgia Cryptid Researchers, right, Glenn?
That's right.
Shout out to Bob. Actually, shout out to Jim. Jim's on our team as well.
See that. Hey, Jim.
He's listening. All right. Shout out to all the team members. Y'all hop in chat. We'll pull you up. We'll give you a shout out. Oh man, but Trey lives in Alabama, and so we make trips out there sometimes, and they've got a pretty good little Bigfoot community out there. A lot of activity actually in Alabama. You think it's because of all those woods?
Yeah, I think so.
Just all the high strangeness. Or is it just the people? Is it the people or the woods?
Well, I've also heard it's the Appalachians, and the Appalachians dump out there. So our start, depending on which end you're at. So yeah.
Well, we do a lot of our research in the Appalachians, in North Georgia, and I've been doing a whole lot of, I guess, shows and research on the Appalachians, even like into Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. I have that remote viewing show, which, by the way, Glenn, you are also trained in remote viewing. We train together. You need your own remote viewing show too. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I just don't know that I'm as good as others.
No, we're all the same. Listen, I just enjoy doing it a lot. It's like my favorite hobby. So that's the reason I do it a whole lot. But
I use mine more at night to relax and get away from the daily stresses.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know. Well, it's all about that mind control, and it's to get quiet on the inside, right? Tune everything out.
All the white noise.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I was talking about the Appalachians, and there's been a whole lot of recent. Okay, this is kind of going off on what we're talking about. It's going off the rails. Okay, but I've been doing a whole lot of research on unspecified animal attacks, Glenn. Okay, things that are all over through the Appalachians. It's all over the place. But packs of wild dogs attacking people. What do you think about that? Do you think that a lot of these people getting attacked? I mean, it's becoming very prominent. A lot
Yes.
of
Yes, it
how do
is.
you feel about that?
Um, well, yeah, there's been several. One in East Tennessee that was highly researched and investigated, and everybody was saying that it was Dogman, but of course, that's not what ever gets out to the news. Um, yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to it, and for some reason, I have noticed, and I don't know why, but it was over the past 4 or 5 years. It seems like they have migrated further from the north
Mhm.
down through to the south. And I don't know if that's just because it's getting reported more, or I'm looking into it more, or what, but it seems that you hear more of these things happening, uh, getting further and further towards the southern border. So
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they aren't in all the woods or every woods, but I think that whatever this force is getting larger and moving. So,
yeah,
and I agree, I don't know what it is either, but I do have a suspicion if it is what they call the dog man, that is probably not a very friendly cryptid. So that's
it's
probably one you
not.
want to avoid.
It's not. Well, we're going to be diving really deep into Dogman reports and Dogman
Mhm,
this weekend on Space Out Radio. I have
mhm,
Barton Nunnally coming on my show
mhm.
Saturday night, and he is based out of Kentucky,
Yep.
and he has a lot of experience with the land between the lakes. Glenn, have you ever been there?
Never been there. No, I've heard the stories, but I've never been there. Don't know that I
It's
want to go
I
there.
know. I don't even think I want to ever encounter a dogman personally. I don't know. I'd like to
No,
see one from a distance, I think. But yeah, I've
I'm with
got
you.
I know. So Barton's coming on Saturday, and then Sunday night I have Nick Valente coming on the show, who's actually I don't know which region director he is, but he's one of the regional directors of the North American Dogman Project. So
Okay.
it's going to be a weekend full of Dogman stories, and also Friday night I have remote viewed this morning, Glenn. I'm not going
Uh,
to give away what it is, but what I remote viewed, but it's the Wolf Woman of Mobile, Alabama.
oh, okay. You've got my
Yeah,
interest there. I have not heard of
yeah,
this one.
yeah. Back in 1971, there was a creature spotted all over Mobile, Alabama. And I think it was only for like 10 days. It wasn't very long. It kind of hopped in and then hopped out.
Hmm,
But they said that it was a woman, like a wolf. It was a wolf body, wolf feet with a woman's face. Yeah,
interesting. Well,
yeah.
that's kind of like the Mount Vernon Monster. It was in and out for a brief period of time. It didn't last very long.
Oh, wow.
So, so
Interesting.
maybe they get pulled back to where they're from.
Exactly. Well, that's interesting because Barry Littleton has talked about that before on the show, and he one of my shows or 10 of my shows. He's been my guest a lot. We talk about it a lot. But yeah, there's certain cryptids that will pop in and out of consciousness and reality, and they're only here for a short time. Like think about the Mothman. Uh there's several
Yeah.
of them that just kind of came and they went and they were never seen again. I can argue that the Mothman was seen all over the world actually, but
Yeah, I've heard that too. So
yeah.
Europe a lot. So
Yeah, Chernobyl.
mhm,
Okay. It
mhm.
was spotted in Chernobyl. It was spotted in Japan, I believe. And
I wonder if any
yeah.
of these things have been spotted in Ukraine with all that activity.
Well,
You know,
Chernobyl is in Ukraine, isn't it?
no, I'm saying, yeah. Well, I don't. I think it's right there on the border, but
Okay.
I'm thinking now, if anything, now with all the trouble stirred up, because a lot of times activity stirs up things, good and bad. So, and,
Yeah. Well, I vaguely remember hearing that there were UFOs over Ukraine right when all
okay,
the craziness started.
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me at all. So they seem to pop up a lot. The funny thing
Yeah.
is now, yeah, Southwood Sasquatch. Yep, that's Ken. Yeah, the UFOs do tend to pop up a lot recently. They're letting out so much more information about them too, which is kind of weird. So, and
Yeah.
I heard somebody say that some of the officials that were involved in the, uh, I guess, the military aspect of the UFOs had now been reporting activity at home that was strange and paranormal. And I didn't follow up on that story. I need to see if it's true, but almost as if they had picked up something, because you can pick up baggage from this stuff and carry it with you. So
boy, do I know.
yeah, I know, you know. So,
I
reminds
know.
me, I was on a podcast and someone said, messaged me and said, was there someone else in the room with you? We heard another voice in the microphone. So if anybody plays this on replay and hears something, let one of us know, because apparently it is a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Overbuilt. Yeah. So Overbuilt, what's up? What's up, Overbuilt Automotive? He said he read that UFOs in the Ukraine have been spotted recently. Okay. So yeah, a lot of times when there's any kind of war going on or bombs going off, or, they've been known to, make like blow up spaceships before they launch and stuff like that, or rockets, I guess.
We don't have spaceships.
Spaceships.
Yeah, we don't have that. No, we don't have that.
Right.
We don't have a space navy.
Right. We don't. Exactly. Space Force.
Space Force.
Yeah.
But Navy boys.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things following you home, okay, so I did have an incident where I was at the Meadow, and the Meadow is a place that Glenn and I research. Okay, our team researches there. It's an undisclosed location somewhere in the South.
Top secret.
And top secret location. And the head of the team, Trey Hudson, he did write a book about it. It's called The Meadow Project: Explorations into the South Skinwalker Ranch. And there was a weekend that we were out there. I was out there. I had a small child at home, so I had to come home after one night, as I usually have to do. So all the action happened on the second night after I left. However, Glenn, you were there the whole weekend, and when I left there on that Saturday afternoon, I went home, and there were orbs floating around my child, or like literal orbs, 2 of them, and we got them on film. We videoed them, and my son and I saw them, and the person filming it did not see them at all with his own eyes. He could only see them through the camera, so it was really interesting. I feel like that kind of proved to me, it showed me that not everybody can see what we see, Glenn. And which is this part of this glitch in the Matrix?
Well, or is it part of their control? I don't know if you remember, but the haunted house I grew up in, didn't grow up in, I spent some time in as a child, found it many years later as an adult, just when we were back up in the DC area. I called my mom and I'm like, hey, is this the house? Because she'd been divorced and it was a long time ago. And she says, yeah. And I said, I think I'm hearing it's for sale. I'm going to go walk around and look. The house was extreme. That house was possessed. I'll just be honest with you. Went up to the windows, felt this horrible, ominous feeling. I mean, I can't even describe it. It was probably worse than any PTSD I've had. This thing was just like a pressing back. Get up and I'm looking in and I can see the ceiling fan is going. Pitch black in front of the window. Pitch black. Can't see through it, as if it was just a piece of black plexiglass. My kids are like, no, look, it's this. My wife can see. Everybody can see right through it. Me, I cannot see through it at all.
Wow. So,
and that feeling there was a voice in my head, and I don't think it was like the crazy type. I think it was my brain going, you need to get the heck out of here, saying get back. And it was funny because my son, I'm thinking he might have been 8 or 9 at the time, found a little toy soldier, a little green military man. He was going to pick it up and carry it home. My wife was like, oh, heck no, leave that here. So sometimes you pick up things inadvertently, and other times you can pick up things physically. So yeah. So whatever that was, that hitchhiker, that's a great word. I should have thought of that. Yeah. But it's odd how that happens. Yeah. And, you can probably talk about this, the things that go on outside of our paranormal stuff that occur to us that we either see differently, or we go, does that happen to everybody else? Leaves us questioning, because either we're so observant, or there's a attraction, physical or psychic attraction, mental attraction of some kind.
Yeah. Something that I get asked all the time, Glenn, is about where do Bigfoots go? And sometimes, they'll just disappear, as if they're disappearing into thin air. Now, are they going through portals? Like, we've experienced a portal. You were there that night when the portal opened up, and Bob and Tim walked into it. And, we've got that. It's on the list of possibilities. But do you think that they're able to get out of our line of vision? Like we don't have enough rods and cones in our eyes to pick up where they're going. They can kind of distort our view or mind control. What is your opinion on that?
Well, Ron Moorhead wrote a book about that with the quantum Bigfoot, and I believe he's probably got it down about right. I met him and got to ask him some questions. I think that yes, it is a physical being of some sort. Whether they have some other type of capability or assistance with technology, either themselves or via ET or some other entity, is also a possibility. But I think that they do possess some kind of way of throwing off our vision, like kind of the movie Predator that was just out on Disney, kind of like that in a way. But somehow I do think that their vibration or the field of energy that they can put out distorts our view. Now, as far as the footprints disappearing, you and I've seen that. I heard one guy here recently saying from England is the reason that they stop is because we're looking at the beginning. And I had to stop and play back that part of the YouTube. I was like, okay, wait. So what he was saying was he believes that their feet are backwards. I'm like, it doesn't sound like anything I've ever seen, but okay.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, but then again, I've had another guy question me. He was telling me, he says, if they're physical beings, they don't go into portals, they live in caves. And I'm like, okay, I agree. Okay. How come they're in such highly densely populated areas and they're not seen?
Yeah, that's true too. Well, it could be that they are there. We just don't see them. Mm-hmm. But I mean, how often have you found bedding in the woods, Glenn? You've spent a lot of time in the woods. How often do you find a home where Bigfoots live?
I've only found maybe 2 places where I would suspect that a large animal had laid. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't call that home, but
a resting spot.
Yeah, a resting spot. And well, I would think also that, not only they're the largest predator in the woods, so they're on the move. They also know that they have to keep moving or they're going to get caught by, us.
Yeah.
So the little hairless ones. So yeah, and
Littlefoots, right?
Exactly, the Littlefoots. We're the Littlefoots.
Yeah.
And getting back to that, I also think that's part of the reason that we can't. Everybody now has a camera or a recorder in their pocket. I also think that being able to throw out that energy or whatever it is that they can project explains the blurry pictures and the blob squatches. And please, God, no more red circles. But
oh gosh, it's getting to be so bad out in these streets, Glenn, with the red circles. I tell you what. Yeah, and I'm so careful about like when I bring guests on my shows and stuff, I have to vet everything that every kind of evidence that people have. And I had some really good evidence this past weekend with Jesus Payan was on my show. He's got some great pictures. He's based out of New Mexico and has encountered a lot of Sasquatch out there. Or a few, and UFOs. And it's interesting because there are so many people who are encountering Sasquatch and having UFO encounters as well. Maybe not at the same time, but just experiencing all of this. And I'm just wondering if maybe they're just on a different frequency than most people to where, like us, Glenn, we've experienced all that stuff. We just vibe in differently than most people where we're seeing all of this stuff. And it may not even be connected, but we're just able to see all these things.
I think it's also we open ourselves up to it. We don't just discount everything. Somebody, like getting back to the red circle, somebody will send me a picture with a red circle. I can or cannot tell you if that's a Sasquatch. You were there, not me. Yeah, I mean, honestly, right. And I don't mind telling what I think, but the thing is, I believe once you really get out there and you have opened your mind and you start researching with, I'll just call it your heart, because you've got to show the interest and the intent, I think, is when things start happening. So either that or we're just crazy. I could be the latter.
We're all a little crazy for sure. Yeah. Candy's in the chat. She said, hey Candy, what's up? She said that she had a channeling yesterday that some of the beings can alter our perception of what we think we're seeing. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Just like ETs.
Well, that's actually a psychological effect. that's been studied. If your body sees something so frightening and terrifying that it just can't comprehend it, that Bigfoot that's got blood dripping off its teeth chasing you, it may appear as a deer in your head.
Yeah.
And that's actually been proven. There's scientists on that. There's scientists that have proven that.
Yeah. Super Sleuth, you can see and hear my show with Jesus Payan on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel. I have a show there called Off the Trails. And you guys check out that. And I had Josh Turner on Saturday night. And those are a couple of great shows. All my shows there are great. So y'all go check that out.
Check her out. She is great.
Yeah. Thank you. But I have a good time at Space Out Radio. So every Saturday and Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I believe that a lot of times people will see owls in the woods, or they'll see deer, like you said. And sometimes those are not deers and owls. That's just what they're projecting into our minds. So how do you think that our remote viewing training helps us out in the field when it comes to stuff like that?
I think it gives us much more of a keen awareness of what's around us, because it's intent. Yes. It's trained us to focus on the rest of what our eyes and brains see. Not necessarily, I'm looking at the screen talking to you, but I know there's things going on around me. It opens that up, and we're more in tune to it. So I think that helps us a lot.
Yeah. Well, and we're able to control our minds as well a little bit more. I feel like that keeps me calm in weird situations that we get in, to just, first of all, we, as humans, I don't think a lot of people know exactly how powerful we are as humans. I feel like we are taught to live in a lot of fear and to feel helpless for whatever reason. And we're not helpless, and we should not be living in fear.
No.
And Glenn, I'm going to touch on a little something that happened to me last night.
Okay. I'm here for you.
And yes, it talking about a glitch in the matrix. Okay. I try not to ever leave my house after dark. I just don't like being out of the house at night. Okay. So I'm getting old. I can't see well when I drive, probably. I don't know. But I had some errands to run. And so I went to the grocery store, and I had my son with me, and I got him a hamburger before we got home. And I had to drop off some packages at the post office. I have a shop called War Woman Goods. Y'all go check it out. It's on Etsy. And, I was dropping off some packages at the post office, and it was dark, and there was nobody there. And I parked the car. I left my son in the car, so because he was eating his burger, I was going to be in less than a minute. I've timed it before. It's like, hop in, hop out, run, put the packages in, check my mailbox, and then hop back in the car. And so there was nobody in there. The post office is full of windows. It's a very small one. And as I was pulling up and starting to get out of my car, 3 men kind of popped out from behind a hill, like in the back of the post office. And so I just, I saw one of the guys starting to walk into the post office, and I was about to walk in. So I, situational awareness. I just kind of was like, he's just going to go check his mail. And I walked in, I put my packages in the box, and I was walking around to go check my mailbox, and he passed me, and he was very odd. Okay. And he didn't look me in my eyes. I like people to look me in my eyes when I'm in a situation like that, so I can size you up or size you down. Okay. And, it's a kind of a federal crime to carry a weapon in the post office. So I don't usually carry a weapon.
What I hear,
and it's right beside the police station. So I thought I was safe, but anyways, this gentleman walked past. It sounded like he was putting some mail in the mailbox. And then I heard him go behind me and acting like he was going to put a key into the big boxes. Like if you have a big parcel, you can, but you have to go to your mailbox first to get the key out, to get the key to go to the parcel box. So I knew there was something off. My red flags went off. So this is all about situational awareness that we're taught when we're learning remote viewing and Bigfooting and all that stuff. And I heard him jiggling around with the mailbox, and I knew that was off. Okay. He did not go get a little key to be doing that. And so I immediately turned around And as I turned around, I walked past him and I saw he didn't have a key in his hand, but he was acting like he did. So I knew there was something wrong. And so I kind of jumped past him. And as I did, I saw him stand up or kind of lean up, and he lunged at me. And like he was about to grab me. Okay. And I was in there by myself. And thinking I was the police, like I said, the police station's right there, should be safe, but no. And he lunged at me. And so I didn't have a weapon on me. I could have fought, but I was very calm, and I didn't get too scared. I just knew danger. And I took off running, ran out the door and ran as fast as I could to my car to get to my son. And he chased me. And and as he got to the car was running and the lights were on. So I guess he saw that there's probably somebody in my car. And he stopped about halfway to my car, and I banged on the window. My son saw there were two guys like waiting at the back door. Like they may have been planning to kidnap me. I don't know what they were doing. I'm not sure what was going on there, but I got in the car, locked the doors. We were safe. My son was very upset. And I pulled out of there and called the police. I went to another parking lot down the street, and I called the cops. So I got to, but here's the thing. Okay. So I wasn't scared. I just knew to get away. Okay. Yeah. And I don't even think my blood pressure went up last night. It was just like, because there's something very interesting that's been going on in this world lately, Glenn. Okay. I'm not sure there's a lot of violence and a lot of crime going on, things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at people these days, and I'm wondering, are these people even real? Okay, I know that sounds weird. No, and this is all about the glitch in the matrix. I feel like I experienced a glitch in the matrix last night. Okay, the guy disappeared. Okay, the cops came. They were there within 2 seconds. They got there. They were there the minute that all this happened, and I had already pulled off. And I went back and talked with them and But anyways, they needed to be aware of what this was at night. It was about 8 o'clock last night, 8:30 p.m. It was dark. And so it was last night.
Well, your training helped you.
It did.
Kept you aware. It did. If you remember, I was attacked on duty by a dog. And
I remember that.
If you remember, I ignored the voice in my head because when I jumped off the fire truck and started going to the scene, there was a distinct voice in my head that for no apparent reason said, "Don't get bit."
Yeah.
I don't know who this voice was. What the voice was. And I looked up on the scene and I saw there was a couple little yipping chihuahuas, and I'm like, okay, data clear. It's chihuahuas. I can field punt them. But I heard it again. Don't get bit. This time it was real loud. And of course, I didn't pay attention, and that's how I got injured. I was, in my attack. So you have to listen to your gut. It will cost you great harm if you don't, or I don't know. Your gut's what they call it, but it's really, we know, a little bit different. It's your inner self. So your awareness. But.
Yeah. I think in this time that we're living in right now, it's very odd, very strange. There's a lot of, I got the vibe that maybe he was kind of mentally disabled or something, but that's no excuse for trying to lunge after a woman,
No, well, anyone. I mean,
or
really.
chasing them. You work in your EMT firefighter status. You're in public safety, Glenn. Mm-hmm. A person, whether they attack you or not, it doesn't matter. They're still attacking you, no matter what their mentality is.
You have to learn to defend yourself, and I know you do. I'm saying this for others.
Yes.
You have to learn to defend yourself both mentally, physically, spiritually. Because there are bad things, bad people out there. And no matter who you are, there's something around the corner lurking that is looking for something. Even small suburbs are having high violence and crime. And so it's everywhere. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like we need to really be careful about and have situational awareness anywhere we go. And I really learned that from being out in the woods doing our paranormal research out in the deep woods. You get a heightened awareness when you're out there, and that really spills into our everyday lives where we're living in this 3D matrix. Okay, so I'm kind of tying it all in right now because we do live in a very strange time, and we're living in these, when I come out of the woods after I've had this enlightening experience with all my friends out there, and we're having a great time, we're all vibing on the same vibe. We go home, Glenn, and it's not the same. We're living, there's still people that are living in their 3D box realities, and we kind of have to assimilate a little bit back to normal reality. Okay, if that makes sense. Yeah,
we ground ourselves.
Well, and we have to really learn how to protect our energy and things like that. And I can really appreciate shows like mine, okay, and all my colleagues, I guess you can call it. People just putting their experiences out there, for other people to experience and to watch and to listen to, because I feel like a lot of us are out here trying to share our experiences to kind of wake up the masses a little bit, just I don't think I'm special at all. I'm not special. I'm just sharing my stories, with people. And I think that's the first step in helping to raise the consciousness of the people around us and on the interwebs. Right. So
I agree. I agree. The only thing I would add is I sometimes think it makes us more of a mark.
Do you think so? What, just a mark of us putting ourselves out there and our stories out there?
Yeah, people either, I don't know what the right word is. They look up to you, and they should look at themselves more than they should look up to us. So
for sure,
I'm just Glenn. So.
We're just normal everyday people. Nothing special.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm kidding, but Overbuilt, you have a good point. There is a lot of demonic deception and dark hearts out there. And we have to really be aware of that. And, I've experienced a lot of, I'm going to say, demonic spirits. Okay. And I think, Glenn, you and I both know just about better than anybody that I know that it can really affect us. Okay. Yes. And when you are just minding your own business, doing your own thing, wanting to be left alone, there are forces that are going to try to bring you down. Okay. And rob, steal, and kill. Right, Glenn? So I feel like you and I both experienced
some of the best lawyers I've ever met. So
yeah. You said lawyers.
It's the best way to rob, steal, and kill. It's the best lawyers I've ever met.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just think that a lot of people are experiencing that right now. I feel like we are in sort of a spiritual battle right now, a spiritual warfare. And I don't know how cryptids and all the stuff we do fits into all of this, but somehow I just feel like this is all kind of related. And and I have actually literally felt as though I saw a spirit jump from person to person in my life to try to get at me, when I'm in hermit mode and I'm trying to protect my energy. These spirits, if you want to call it that, certain people may not can get at you, but then you got your family members that are close to you and people that are not on as high of a vibe and are able to kind of, I'm not going to say be possessed, but these dark spirits, these dark entities will use people that are closest to you to hurt you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
have you experienced that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They can definitely influence, and they can definitely be used to try and influence you, whether it be physically, mentally, or some other way. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got personal experience with, I also think that there's a dark energy. And I don't know that the dark energy is necessarily one or a spirit, but it seems as though not only is, the world trying to divide us in every which way known to man, I think there's also some kind of energy that's out there, and it affects different people in different ways.
Yeah, I think so too. And how important do you think is it that people get right with themselves on the inside and have some sort of spiritual source that they go to, and even praying, I mean, we've got a couple of people in the chat today talking about, calling on the name of God and things like that. And Jesus,
there's even a Bible verse that says that if you call out his name, that he will protect you. So, I think it's very important, and it doesn't matter what what the higher power entity that you believe in, as long as you have a belief, I think, and as long as you feel strong, but you also have to be prepared. And somebody taught me a long time ago, one of our real good friends and leaders in this, every day you have to have I'll call it a mantra, something you say in your head that protects you. It's not like a spell or a cast, or it may be that I don't believe in those particular things, but it may be.
Well, they say words are spells, and so that's why we have to speak nicely to ourselves.
That's correct. That's correct. And so, as you always, nothing will harm me unless I allow it to. And that's a pretty powerful statement. And if you believe it and you send that intent out there, then I believe that, yes. Yeah, I believe that does protect us and look over us. Now, the one thing I've always wondered, and I've never gotten, I don't know if I even really want to know the answer to, but we can hear ourselves talking in our head. Can anyone else or anything else? That's something that's always perplexing. Am I safe in my own head? Is it, what's between these headphones here safe?
Yeah.
Because I say a lot of stupid things.
Well, that gets back on the topic of like telepathy. And humans used to communicate way more telepathically than we do today. Now we have an artificial form of telepathy, and it's called a cell phone. Okay.
Not made me very smart.
Yeah. And it's just that is just a form of, I'm not going to say dumbing everybody down, because we need that. We need to be able to communicate. Communication is key. It's part of being human, right? And a question I like to ask all the time is, what does it mean to be human? Okay.
Good question.
And I know Lee, the head of one of our teams, he would always, ask that question, or he'd bring it up like, well, what does it mean to be human? Or, that's part of what it means to be human. So that rubbed off on me a lot, because what does it mean to be human? We're here having a human experience, and we're all very spiritual beings, in these human meat suits, living in this 3D reality.
Yep. Creatures of light.
Yeah. And we're all on this ride together, in a lot of ways, trying to navigate and figure out what the heck's going on. Because I don't think any of us really know.
No.
I don't know. Even, and the more we get out there and try to learn some of these mysteries of the world, we have so many more questions, right, Glenn? I mean, I know I do.
Oh, it's Pandora's box. You ask one question and then, okay, what is this? What is this? So yeah. Well, I don't know. That guy last night that did kind of lunge at me and attempted to grab me. Maybe he liked my hair. He just wanted to touch my hair. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm gonna be good. I won't say a word.
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to smell my hair. I have no idea. It was weird.
This daytime show just took a twist.
Right. Wait, you smell your hair. It was not comfortable though, and so we got to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that was part of this like weird 3D matrix reality that I was just like, this doesn't even seem real. Like I got home and I remember going to bed last night thinking, God, did that even really happen? Like this was really weird, very odd.
How did your son see it? Did he say, I'm asking because he saw it from a total different view. So
he did. He saw it. Well, he was more focused on the two men that were standing at the back door. They were kind of hiding behind a bush. He said that they were there at the back door for a minute and then they just disappeared, he said. And then they came walking out from behind the post office after that. And so he was keeping his eyes on them while I was in there dealing with the other guy. And he was very
looking out for mom.
Yeah. And you know what? I got in the car. You know what? He screamed at me. He's like, this is why you should have a boyfriend.
Now your son is shaming you. Oh no.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Maybe I should look into that. I don't know. We'll see.
I can tell you I have daughters. Probably it's not the best time to be dating right now, from what I hear.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a whole other level right there. I don't really want to talk about it.
That's the reality show neither of us want to be on.
We're not. Oh, yeah. I actually did get contacted by Tony's in the chat. What's up, Tony? Hey.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Yeah, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Tony's another field researcher with us who just last time I went out in the field, he was out there with us. So okay, so Yeah, I was actually contacted, Glenn, by a group or a producer, let's just say a TV producer, who was planning to do a show about a Bigfoot field researchers dating show.
Okay, then.
Bigfoot researchers dating show. Now, I kindly declined. I respectfully declined that one.
You know,
It
I
was a
thought
little
I've heard
fresh.
a lot of reality shows.
Yeah, I can't wait till that comes out, though. I mean, can you imagine? That's going to be a hot mess.
The one that I almost made it on, I really wish it had come to light. I would have loved to have seen it. So I was supposed to be the paramedic over a cat circus, an actual feline kitty circus, and I was going to be the paramedic on this show. This show never got
I mean,
stage one. But I was like, I'm in for this one. I got it. Cat scratch fever. There's a pill for that.
Oh my gosh, Glenn, that is awesome. And that's just part of, if we're going to be living in this 3D matrix reality, right? We might as well make it fun and spice it up. Maybe I should have gone on that Bigfoot dating show. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It makes for a good story, I guess.
It does. And we also meet some entertainment. Like, how many people do you know that have been? I was supposed to be a paramedic on a cat circus show. You were on how many people? Are there a lot of people like us that get asked these questions?
I have no idea. That's my reality. Well, see, that's the interesting thing, Glenn, is that we live in we all have our own realities, right? Mm-hmm. And was it last night? I guess it was, Monday night. It was actually Monday night. I was on I co-hosted Texas Front Porch. We had Nick Valente on that show. And we were talking, Tex brought up the question, well, how do we know that these Bigfoots are out there doing mind speak? And, how do we know that they can talk telepathically to us? And how do we know it's them? How do we know it's not a spirit or some kind of demon, some kind of demonic or an alien? How do we know? And and to me, I don't know. Every experience is different. It's very unique to each person. And I can only tell people what I've experienced personally, because I don't know what everything is. It's a mixed bag,
I believe that you can turn that communication on and off too. Early in life, I used to think that I would have, leadership or someone tell me things from a different side, a different point of view. And I was young, didn't know what it was at the time. And it scared me so much. And some highly religious people in my life told me, said, you need to tell them to stop, turn that off, go away.
Yeah,
I did. It went away. And so.
Well, that's the power of you. That's your power. You command something to leave. Yeah. Do you understand how powerful you are? We as humans are very powerful. And if you don't want something around you, command it to leave. If it's something especially paranormal, and what's the worst you can do? Say no. Just kidding.
I don't know.
Kidding.
I want to find out the word. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's worth a try, but we are very powerful as human beings, and so don't ever forget that.
Oh yeah, the scariest thing I ever saw. There was only two ways out: the second story window or it. And I survived, and I don't to this day don't know why or how it went away. But yeah, so
wow, yeah. That
was a very. Did I ever tell you that story?
No,
it was the last night I spent at my grandmother's house in Virginia. Woke up middle of the night, pee. Thought that it was lightning outside, like thunderstorm, because it's flashing and everything. Half awake, didn't have glasses at that time. I was a little younger, and. When you come out the bedroom door, you're at the top of the flight of the steps. There's another bedroom directly across. Fall to your death at the steps to the left, and there's a bathroom to your right. So I go to the bathroom, looking out the window, and I can oversee the yard and whatever. It's not raining, it's not storming, and it's not lightning outside. The lightning is inside the house.
Oh,
and that's when it hit me. And my grandmother had an old medicine cabinet on the wall right there, and to the right, I kind of looked over. Filled the entire door, a dark shadow with electricity coming out of it, black cape, black hat of some kind, like old style, like cloak and dagger type stuff, and was staring dead at me. And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm peeing, there's two ways out of this room. One's through that window to the I'm on the second story plus, and the other one is through it, and it turned and disappeared. And yeah, that was probably one of the scariest things I've ever. Never slept a night in that house. I guess that probably another reason I'm a night owl besides for my job. But yeah,
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Very terrifying. Yeah.
I know. I think a lot of us have had really interesting, weird experiences like that we can't explain. So I don't know. It's gotten us to where we are today because you became a paranormal field researcher, and so did I somehow. I don't know how I ended up here, but this is where I'm at right now. So, and talking about all these crazy experiences, yeah.
Our life leads us in directions that we don't yet understand. There's still people out there that we're going to meet that are going to enlighten us even more in our journey. So, yeah.
How have the people that you research with affected you? Has it been positive?
All positive. Positive. In fact, there's probably not one of you I wouldn't call up in the middle of the night if I was having some kind of crisis and needed someone right away. Yeah. And there's aside for public safety family, there's not many people outside your real close family you can do that with. And we do share a unique bond. And it's nice to be able to call you and go, Jessica, I got to get this off my mind. This is bugging me, and you'll listen just as I will. So.
Oh yeah. Well, we're all on that same vibe, and we're all just here trying to help each other figure things out. And that's part of being human, and to navigate this 3D matrix reality that we're in. So Glenn, this has been a lot of fun. We've got about a minute left today. Would you like to tell everybody where they can find you? I think I made a banner for your Twitter.
Yeah, at Sportcat. It's probably the easiest way to find me. Find me there. I'm hoping still it's about to get winter up in Vermont and go see my son, maybe get out in the woods there a little bit. The last time we were there, got out in the woods and didn't get to see much, but it was still kind of nice. So I'm hoping to get up there in the fall. I've got the Bigfoot or the Mount Vernon Monster coin coming out. And of course, if anybody is interested in the fire rescue stuff, I got that too. But I know most people want the Bigfoot stuff. So.
Oh yeah, and my crowd's really into Sasquatch and Bigfoot and all the cryptids, Dogman. So
I got a limited edition coin they're gonna love. So
good.
So limited, I made it.
Oh my gosh! And now we've got dog women. Okay, so I get to talk about a dog woman on Friday. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tune into that. Mobile is I've got family that's down from there, so I've got to tune this one in. I want to start learning about creatures of the sea. That's my next one. Nice. I did not realize that Georgia has a sea monster. So
I've heard that before. Yeah. Maybe we can remote view that sometime. And maybe you can come on the show with me, my remote viewing show one Friday night. Okay.
Might look silly next to you, but I would be glad to.
Hey, we make a great team, Glenn. So it'll be fun. Okay. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for being here today. This has been a lot of fun. You were my first guest on my daytime show, and we got to rock it out. So
let's hope we get naming for it. So
yeah, it was awesome. All right. Well, everybody, thank you all so much for being here today. And
thank you.
Yes. Just thank you for being here. And I guess I will see you guys on Friday. Actually, I'm going to see everybody tomorrow. I am co-hosting Brunch with Bigfoot and with Rob, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. That's it. I believe it's at 1 p.m. on Thursday. That's Eastern time. And then I've got shows every day. I've got Friday night remote viewing the Wolf Woman of Mobile, Alabama. And then I've got Barton Nunnally, Spaced Out Radio Saturday. And then I've got Nick Valente on Spaced Out Radio on Sunday night. So Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So everybody, thank y'all so much for being here today. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Glenn, thank you so much. I will be seeing you again soon, hopefully out in the woods. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, everybody, y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time, probably tomorrow. Bye, y'all. Bye.